Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Welcome to What's on Tap podcast, your weekly source of beer review and random chatter.
Wow, random chatter.
It is always random.
My chatter is never random.
It's always 100% random.
Specifically curated for...
I know, you come in with an agenda every episode. I appreciate that.
Sure. So this episode is another one in our archaeological series, where I do archaeological digs in my cellar.
And you bring out stuff that you're like, ooh, we should drink this 4 years ago. Let's try it now.
Yes, and that's definitely true for one of these. The other one I have high hopes for. So let's start with the one I have high hopes for.
Yes.
It's actually a beer we've reviewed before on this show.
So we reviewed this beer back in, 2019?
Yeah.
When it came out. And it is the Remmarlov and OO Brewing's collaboration Doppelbock. It comes in at 11.5% ABV, and it is best before 2021. So we're a couple of years off on that.
Yeah, it's expired, but since it's so strong, and since Doppelbock is a sweet by nature style, it has the potential to develop into barley wine territory. I believe, not American barley wine, because any hops here are kind of muted and faded.
Yeah. And so we both give this a 4 when we tried it those many years ago.
A long time ago.
And I've had it twice since then, in, 2020? 2021, 2022. We didn't have it in 2020. And I gave it a 4 both times then.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Because the last time would have been past the expiration date.
Yeah.
Like now.
Yes.
So, yeah, it has like an amber...
It's got a great color too.
Orange brownish color.
Looks really nice.
It does smell like barley wine.
It does smell like barley wine. It is getting a little into the dusty, maybe a little pepperminty kind of flavors a bit. So like a barley wine that's starting to go like a really old barley wine.
Yeah.
Like a 10-year-old barley wine. But this is only, what you said, 4 years?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, let's do this. I'm excited.
Cheers. It's definitely got the pepperminty, dusty.
It's starting to move to that. It's subtle. I would say if I didn't know what to expect, I would still get the caramel notes. I still get the toffee kind of things going on there. It's still sweet and a little desserty, but there is a little freshness to it, we'll say.
Yeah.
Not really minty, but a little fresher on the palate than you would expect.
But it's not ruined by any measure.
No, but I don't think it can stand much longer.
No,
I think we're getting it right before it turns.
Yeah. So what I mean by ruined, I mean, yes, I do believe that it's worse now than when it came out. But ruined for me is this was it's not a complete wash.
Yeah, no, and I would say the aftertaste is just like bran and raisiny kind of flavor.
That we want.
That's like it's like still really strong. It's like, oh my god, that's really tasty.
I honestly have no idea why I put down this bottle into the cellar. I really don't know.
I remember I bought a few bottles of it because I tried it and I was like, that's really good. So I bought a couple extra bottles. I thought, well, I'm just going to put them in reserve. And I don't care. I don't think anyone else likes this beer but me. And as fans of the show know, I'm a pretty big Remmarlov fan. And I also really love OO Brewing. I think they do some really great stuff. So I was like, well, I'll just set this back and then I'll have it, once a year.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed it every time. And I don't think my opinion's going to change much this time either.
And it feels like I don't know our entire history of the show. This might be the first repeat beer we've ever done.
No, we've done some repeat beers. The Advent calendars forced us to do a couple of repeat beers, but we've also done some revisits on some beers that we had reviewed early in the podcast and then revisit them.
Like, Eternal Darkness?
No, that one was just weird because I happened to have two bottles, I'd have one that was in the bottle and one that was in the can.
Oh, that was like vertical.
That was vertical,
Right.
yeah. And they had the fresh one versus the one that was a few years old in the can. I'm sorry, that was in the bottle. And the bottle version had turned smoky,
All right.
like a peat aged kind of beer, which was really surprising considering that it was just a base stout.
Right.
And then I tried to replicate that by saving the beer the same number of years again, and it just didn't do the same. It didn't turn like it did when it was in the bottle.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
This it's not a 4 for me today, but it's somewhere in strong 375.
It's still going to be a 4 for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I would give it
3.9 if you were
3.85, 3.9, but I'm not going to be a little bitch that way. I'm just going to round up to 4 and just take that because I think it's still very drinkable. But I don't know that if I was to have it in another year, that it would still. I think then the quality would drop.
Yeah,
Maybe even like another 6 months, the quality would probably drop pretty hard. But I think this is it's still an excellent beer. I think the color and the clarity, just spotless.
it's definitely past its peak, but not by much.
All right. So what's the other beer you brought?
Let's see. So from a Swedish brewery called Den Bryggande Holländaren, the Brewing Dutchman is the translation. They are from Gnesta, which is in Södermanlands län. Let's just say it's close to Stockholm, even if it's not super close. But it's Södermanlands
It's
län.
closer to Stockholm than Malmo.
It's in the same län,
Okay.
same state.
Same region,
Right?
correct? Yes.
Like everything in the one U.S. state is super close to each other, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, Texas is only a 15-hour drive to get from east to west, and
Exactly.
I think it's like a 20-hour drive to get from north to south. So
But the beer is Barrel Aged Dessert Stout Jonas. So they named it after some guy. It's 9.5% ABV.
it's what 9?
9.5.
9.5. Interesting.
So they count it as an imperial stout.
Right, but why would you age a 9.5%?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I have no idea what this is doing in my cellar. You're going to be even more surprised when you hear the ingredients.
All right.
This is a stout brewed with coconut sugar, aged for 6 months in a red wine barrel with cinnamon and vanilla. And it's expired. It expired in 2019
All right.
or December of 19.
Well, I will say the carbonation is still there. I mean, it's got a little ring, and if you agitate it, it kind of comes back to life, and there's some nice lacing on the glass. The smell is kind of a cross between a cola and some sort of herbal digestive.
I think it smells terrible.
I don't think it smells terrible, but every time I smell it, I get a slightly different. I get like a little bit of a slight like coconut shell, and then that passes super quick, and then it becomes like a cinnamon ginger Julmust kind of smell.
Ugh.
I know that's the exact same face. I every time I try Julmust, I make that face.
Julmust is amazing.
It's disgusting.
But I really have no explanation what this is doing in my cellar.
Yeah,
What?
because normally, I mean, wouldn't even think about cellaring a stout unless it was 10+% ABV, 11 maybe.
And
is
not
the
and
start.
not a red wine barrel aged coconut vanilla cinnamon monstrosity.
Yes.
I think what happened was I bought this bottle, and then someone else like opened their bottle and shared it with me. So I probably went, Dennis, I'm in no hurry to drink this,
So you just put it in the back of in a box somewhere and forgot about it.
and probably carried it down to the basement because it shouldn't take up room up in the apartment.
That makes sense.
And then it was forgotten, like the one ring in Lord of the Rings.
All right, Gollum, let's try this out and see if it's your precious.
Cheers! It's not. It really isn't.
Oh my God, that's
Ooh.
tough.
That is.
It's like at first I'm like, I don't know what I'm drinking here. I don't know what the experience is, and then sour. It just becomes the tannins from the wine barrels are super tannic, and this does not taste like a stout in any way.
This is really terrible.
It tastes like a sour. It tastes like a sour stout kind of. If I had to
Yeah.
put all of the cross things together in the way this is aged out.
The red wine barrel has done this no favors. In 2019, I apparently gave it a 4.
I can see that.
And I did it after midnight at a heavy share.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't, it's kind of weird because I don't hate it. For me, it is like a minor version of a brewery sour stout.
Yeah.
Because it definitely should not be this flavor. The flavors that we're tasting are definitely not what the beer was ever originally meant to be. But I don't hate it at the same time.
So I'm going to read a friend of the show, Björn, drank it with me in 2019. And he writes, very present cinnamon. The red wine barrel gives a very, very slight acidity.
Ooh.
Light sweetness.
Wow.
None of that is true anymore.
I would say this beer has done a 180. It has flipped. There's the cinnamon, I think, adds to that cola quality that I smell. But then the flavor is 100% sour ale. It's intensely sour.
It's so terrible.
It's so funny because I don't hate this beer. I don't have any love for it, but I definitely don't hate it.
Let's see.
I wonder what kind of sediments are in the bottom of this bottle. It's got to be just a gunky, weird mess.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to add before we review this?
I have no idea.
What I like about this is they've really blended the Swedish with the English on the bottle.
Yeah.
For some weird reason, like this bottle was never going to leave Sweden. It was never meant for external sales, but yeah, for some reason they really went all in on the English branding of it, which is kind of odd.
I paid 104 Swedish kroner for it in 2019.
And that was like $2 billion today.
Yeah.
The inflation is killing us, guys. So I am going to give this a
0.5.
No. I was going to give it a 3.25.
Wow. I have no idea how you got to that rating.
Because it's fun. It's a garbage beer. It is 100% straight up garbage. Don't get me wrong. But it's transformed in such an odd, crazy ass way that I still find it like somewhat drinkable. And the sour tannic notes, I think if you were to just serve this to you and you didn't know what it was, I think you would like it better than what you're reading on what your expectations are based on the label.
Maybe. Okay, I'll give it a 1.
There, thank you.
I've doubled.
You're giving it a 1.25. You've tripled it, so you've tripled your review already.
Yeah. Now I give it a 0.5.
Oh, 0.5.
And
So
now
you give
it's
it
a
0.25. So you have doubled. All right.
Yikes.
No, I totally understand why you would hate this and why you think this is a horrible. This is not an undrinkable mess for me. I think that's the deal, and that's why I'm giving it the better review than you.
But this is what happens when we do archaeological series.
It's fun. I love
episodes.
it. I love them when you bring out some crazy ass bullshit that should have been drank 6 years before.
It does give us something more to talk about when we do IPA episodes.
It's so weird, like the coconut
IPA.
sugar. Yeah, IPA was a little worst. Oh, look, it's fruity and it tastes like an IPA. Great.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, moving on. The crazy thing is the coconut sugar should not have as much coconut flavor still in the beer that it has. And it's not saying like this was like a lot of coconut, but there is whiffs and hints of coconut in ways that I've had coconut beers that were not, they had zero coconut in them.
You need to return to the Doppelbock.
No, I'm definitely going to say the Doppelbock is the way to go. Okay, so we'll wrap this up here.
What's worth noting is that the Doppelbock, the more oxygen it gets, the worse it gets. It was better straight from the
It's a little
bottle.
cardboardy.
Yeah, quickly.
Well, I mean, it is way past its prime as well.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that we got to review it on the show.
Yeah,
again.
I'm happy about that one.
Yeah. Okay, until next time, you can find us online at what'sontappodcast.com, Instagram, Facebook.
Spacebook.
I wish
it's a completely new one.
wish we had I was thinking about MySpace. Though. I was like,
always wanted you to go. Are we on MySpace?
I wish MySpace was still a thing. I don't think it is anymore. I think after it was relaunched for like the third time, they just gave up on it. Friendster, we're on Friendster as well.
Have we talked about the genius guy at the user at MySpace? Because you could program your own HTML.
I know. You could totally customize the shit out of your page.
And one guy managed to insert a little JavaScript note that whoever visited your page, his page, became his friend automatically, and inserted that little JavaScript piece on their page. It was basically like a virus.
Nice. So he slowly took over MySpace.
Within hours, he was friends with every single user on MySpace.
That is insane. What was the Swedish?
Lunarstorm.
Lunarstorm. That was around when I first moved here. I remember that.
But now we're talking pre-2000s.
So yeah, you can find us on GeoCities, Lunarstorm,
Tripod,
Friendster, all of the real hip places that kids are these days.
I had multiple GeoCities web.
That does not surprise me. We're gonna have to go on the Wayback Machine and visit all of your
with like under construction signs.
Yeah, all your aborted websites from the past.
Yeah.
All right. So until next time,
keep drinking, you dum dums.